once you all have reached to the SSB gate, there your documentation starts, and after the documentation you will be taken to a shed. That shed, that is called as reporting shed. So under that shed you all will be seated, you all will be served your breakfast, and after the breakfast your process starts. So the first task, like this SSB is basically distributed in two stages, that is your stage 1 and stage 2. So your stage 1 is called as screening, and your stage 2 is the basic testing. So talking about the stage 1 first, because stage 1 is the day 1. So we'll be talking about the stage 1 or the day 1 first. So the first task, like as you reach there early morning, and the first task that will be presented in front of you is your officer's intelligence rating test, that is OIR. So why this OIR is conducted? Like, it is a very big myth that OIR is not having any weightage, but it's not that much true. OIR is having a lot of weightage, because once you will be like going into the hall, and now you have done your OIR, it will be mentioned on your PIQ, and your PIQ will be with the assessors for day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. So it is, I would say, one of the most important, because it is like first impression. So you all must have heard, first impression is the last impression. So because of that, this OIR plays a very key role in your selection. So talking about the OIR, it is not a very tough test, I would say. For your entries, you all are good at your reasoning and this verbal and non-verbal abilities. So these kind of questions are there in your OIR. But what is different in OIR from other reasoning tests is the timing. In the OIR, you won't be getting that much of timing that you get in your usual tests. Like, I would say, for every question, you would get only 30 seconds, and questions will not be that much easy. So the most important thing that you can do in terms of preparation of OIR is the practice. So you can practice OIR beforehand, so that you are having some knowledge that how to perform. And you would see that some questions will be there which are tough, and you will find that you are not able to solve those. So what people generally do, that they avoid the questions. So you should not be avoiding the question. You just tick mark the question and move ahead, because OIR is having no negative marking. So that's the positive of this OIR test. Rest, it depends on your practice, how you practice. There are multiple resources. Even we are having our OIR practice sets, so you will be getting those. After that, after the OIR, the most important test of the day, that is your PP and DT. And here, where 50% of the crowd is out, it works as a filter. So what a filter does is, those who are not eligible, filter takes them out. So that is the work of the PP and DT, and that's why it is called as screening test. So talking about the PP and DT, it is the most important test of the day, and the full form of this test is picture perception and discussion test. So you can see that there are number of tests involved in this particular test. So like, there will be multiple stages in terms of this test. The first stage that you will be going through is writing a story. So once like your OIR is done, one sheet will be given to you all, and after that distribution of that sheet, you will be shown an image on the screen, and you all will be entitled to write a story along with the mentioning of age, gender, and mood, and the action of the story. So this is your test, where you are entitled to write a story, and after writing the story you will be taken to another hall where your discussion will start. So first, let us talk about writing of the story, like how you write the story. So talking about writing of the story, stage 1 of PP and DT, there you will be shown an image. So the most important thing that you can do is observing the image. So once you have observed the image, you will find that half of your work is done. Like you will be able to see the number of characters, the mood of the characters, and what they are doing. There must be some background, like it can be a rural background, it can be urban background or a semi urban background. So you have to identify that, and based on your observation your story is going to rely. And if your observation is correct, your story is going to be fine. After you have observed the image, now you have to put everything on that paper. Like there will be a box, and imagining that box as the image, mark the characters, the main character and the side characters. After marking the characters, write their age, gender and mood. You can in terms of writing the age, use a age bracket. Like suppose if my age is 18, so I would like, you cannot surely say by seeing me that I'm 18. So you would use a age bracket, like I can be somewhere around 15 to 20. So same you have to write in the SSB also. Like if you feel that the boy is around 18, you can write 18 to 23, 18 to 20, 5 years of age bracket you can take. After that, talking about the gender. So gender you can denote using M. M is for, stands for male. F stands for female. And if you are not able to identify that what is the gender of that person, so you can write the P. P stands for person. So it shows that you are not able to classify whether it is male or female. So you have written as person. Like sometimes the image is so hazy, so you won't be able to get the exact idea about the gender. After that, talking about the mood. So mood is basically of three kinds. It can be positive, it can be negative, or it can be neutral. So in terms of denoting the positive, you should use plus. For negative you should use minus, and for neutral you should be using 0. Always listen to the instructions also. Like sometimes they change their instruction, and they tell you to use n in place of 0 for denoting the mood. So one of the most important thing that you can do in the SSB is listening the instruction. From day 1 till day 5, every time you are listening some instructions, and I bet you that if you are following all the instructions, if you are listening the instructions very carefully, and if you are following all the instructions, no one can make you a conference out or a screen out, because their instructions are so clear and cut. So always listen to the instructions. Even you will feel in the GTO, when you will be there on the ground, GTO will be giving you so many hints just in the form of instruction. So always pay your ears to the instructions, and you'll do wonders. After that, like after you have written the story of PP and DP, now you all will be taken to a hall. And yes, I have missed about the action. So the action is a title of the story. Suppose suppose I'm taking the class, and someone has taken an image of this scenario. So like you can talk about the action, that attending a class, attending a webinar or something. So that can be your action. Action is something that if you use one word and you are able to describe all the story, this is your action, that particular theme of the story. After that, once you have written the action, now you are ready to write the story. So the timing that you get is after you have observed the image, that is for 30 seconds, the image will be gone. Now you will get 30 seconds for marking the characters like age, gender and mood. Then you will get another 30 seconds for writing the action. And after this 1 minute, now you will get 4 minutes for writing the complete story. So this is how the process of writing the story happens. Now suppose that you all have written these stories, and after that you all will be taken to a hall. In that hall, you all will be seated in a semicircular manner, and in that semicircular manner, there will be a discussion going on. So the first thing that happens before the discussion is your narration part. I would say the for getting screened in, the most important tool that you are having in your hand is your narration, because narration is the first time when assessors come to know you by face to face. So it is the first time where you can create that impression that you are confident, that you are able to describe your emotions, you are able to express your views, and you are clear, you are crisp and short, You are able to lead the people. This is all you can show just in the narration. So in the narration, what happens that everybody that is sitting there will get 1 minute, and you have to utilize that 1 minute. Now, how will you utilize that 1 minute? For utilizing 1 minute, you should be ensuring that in your narration you have described about the age of the character, gender of the character, mood of the character, action of the story, and the story. So you should be keeping all this in that particular 1 minute. So you will find in the screening what most people like do wrong is that they are not able to describe their age, gender, and mood. They directly jump into action. Sometimes they miss out action. Sometimes they miss out their age or gender. So just ensure that you are not missing out anything. You are there and you are on point. You are perfect in your narration. If you are able to give your narration very perfectly and your story is average kind of, I would say that you are sprinting. So be good at your narration. That narration is one of the most important thing that you can do, as I told. After that, after the narration, like once everyone has narrated, so again you have to listen the instructions. Sometimes they say that just after the narration, once the last person has narrated their story, you can start the discussion automatically. So you can start the discussion as soon as the last person has completed their story. Then comes the discussion part. So in the discussion, what happens that there is a fish market or like a total chaos during that discussion. So what you should be doing that you should not be a part of the like fish market. You should not be getting involved in that particular scenario. You should be waiting for your opportunity to speak, and whatever whatever you are having in your mind, you can just say it and be on point. Don't take too much time in describing your own point during a discussion because everyone is waiting for their opportunities. So keep your points short and crisp. Be on point. Don't talk. Don't beat about the bush. Means don't talk unnecessary thing. Just be on point. So till here we have discussed about the PP and DT and the OIR. If anyone is having any doubt, they can unmute and ask their doubt. Any doubts, anyone?
Can I ask
Yes, yes, go on.
what type of questions will be asked in the OIR?
Okay. In the OIR, the questions will be same as the reasoning questions that you must be practicing for your like competitive exams. And the level of the question, like the pattern is a bit different. There they are checking that are you able to grasp some basic things, like the questions will be based on dice, and majorly the questions are based on dice and cube and dictionary question. Like there are some questions that like if I place all these words in a series, then which word will come last in the dictionary. So these kind of questions are there. So you should be practicing the basic questions only. These questions are not that much tough.
Okay, and one more question.
Yes, yes, continue.
How do we deal with the narration part? Like, I mean, once we are done with the narration and the discussion part, how do we deal with that? Because, like you said, it will be a chaos. So, I don't think we'll mostly get a chance to like tell our part or state our point. So, how do we deal with that part at that point of time?
Okay, so suppose like there is a fish market in the GD, and generally what happens that if there is a fish market or there is a chaos, then the GTO is there and he distributes the group. Then you will get a fair opportunity to put your point. Suppose sometimes it happens that everyone is waiting for GTO, that GTO will come as a hero and he will distribute the group, and GTO does not say anything. So there, what you can do that you can raise your point very politely. That okay, gentlemen, we all are making a chaos. Can we discuss one by one? Can we listen to each other? Otherwise, if you are not getting any opportunity to say this, you can just say that okay, can I speak? Can I speak? Like you can request others to let you speak. And the other thing that you can do is like, suppose I am speaking and everyone is speaking, still there will be a point, that zero noise point. Like there will be a point where everyone will be quiet, or the energies of the people will be down. Like one cannot speak for continuous 10 minutes, so the energies will be down, and that is the point where you can hit. So once the energies are down, just go, put your point, and back off. That is what you can do. And once you are speaking, like if you are speaking a very valid point, I would say that everyone will be listening to you. And suppose no one is listening to you, then don't be worried, GTO is listening to you. So just do your job, and they will assess you.
Thank you. I got it.
Anyone else, any doubts? Okay, so I suppose that there are no doubts. Fine. We'll after the PP and DT and after the OIR, I suppose most of you have got screened in, and like there will be a announcement of result. One person will be there and he will announce your chest numbers. After getting screened in, you will get some new chest numbers, and your testing starts. So this was not a testing. Your result of screening does not matter in the testing of psychology, GT, or interview. So after the screening, once you have got screened in, now leave the bag and baggage and go for the testing, like psychology, GTO, and interview. So now I'll tell you about once you have completed your day one in AFSB, what happens that on the day one, the evening of the day one, generally they conduct the psychological test also. So sometimes it happens, and sometimes they conduct it on day two. So that is their job. Let them do, and we'll just discuss about the things that you should do. So I suppose that most of you are from SSBs. So I'll talk in general terms. After your day one, once you are screened in, now you will be going for the day two. So on the day two, what happens? There is a psychological test, and in that psychological test, what happens that there are four tests, and your dossier will be there. Like there will be a booklet that you will be having. All these pages will be blank, and you will be writing your stories, your sentences, your responses, and your answers. And just by reading those responses, your stories, your sentences, the psychologist will make an assessment of your personality, that are you suitable for this armed forces or not. This is what happens in the psychology. So psychology is all about your writing skills, your imagining skills, your creativity, and how will you put your points. So just diving into the psychological test, we'll talk about TAT first. So TAT, I would say, the most important test of the psychological test. Like it will be lasting for 1 hour, around 1 hour, and you will get 12 images. So what happens in the TAT, that is your thematic apperception test? You all will be seated in a hall. There will be a projector in front of you. One image will be flashed on the screen. It will be there on the screen for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, that image will be gone. Now you will get 4 minutes to write a story. So here in TAT, you are not allowed to write that age, gender, and mood, or the action. So these all four things are only entitled for the PP and DT. In TAT, you are allowed only to write the story. So just see the image and write the story. This is what you should do. So that image will be there on the screen for 30 seconds. You will get after that 30 seconds, that image will be gone, and you will get 4 minutes to write a story. Just write the story, and after 4 minutes, again another image will be flashed on the screen. Again after 30 seconds, it will be gone, and you will get 4 minutes. So this process will last for 12 images, and the 12th image is a blank image. Like blank in the sense that it will be a white or a black image. So you can imagine anything of your kind. Like it is the test of your imagination. So in the 12th image you can imagine anything, you can imagine anything as per your own creativity. So this is how the TAT is conducted. Like after the 12, all the 12 stories, your test will be over. And what is required to do is to write a story based on the characters that you see in the image. Again, the thing that you should do is observing the image and putting your characters on point, relating the background, like it can be a rural, urban, or semi urban background. Just based on the background, based on the mood of the characters, what they are doing, you should be writing a story. Like in our batch, we generally do the practice of this TAT daily, and we are writing around 4 stories daily, and we are having some mock psychological sessions also. So you will be having a good practice of your psychological tests in the batch. After that, the second test that is there is your WAT. So WAT is having around 10% of the weightage of the psychological test. In WAT, what is the conduct is your like you again you will be seated in the same hall, and an image will be flashed in front of you. In that image there will be a word kind of, there will be some very like very simple words. Suppose speaker is there, or notes is there, or psychology is there. These kind of words where you will be having the meaning in your hand, you just have to interlink that word with your mentality and find a good sentence. So like the word will be there on the screen for 15 seconds. In that particular 15 seconds you have to see the word, you have to think of a sentence, and you have to write that sentence on your sheet. So this is what you should be doing in that particular 15 seconds. I'll tell you that WAT is the fastest moving test of the SSB, and you will feel that after the test your hands are pumped up. So like it needs a very good practice, good amount of practice for doing well in the WAT. This is the test where you can have a practice like WAT, TAT, and SRTs. Here you can have a very good practice and do well in the psychology. After the WAT, the another test is the SRT. The full form is situation reaction test. In this test, what happens that there will be some situations like presented in front of you. So you will get a booklet, and in that booklet you will be given 60 situations, and based on those situations you have to write the responses. Suppose situations will be kind of, you are sitting in a webinar, and one person unmutes themselves and start making noise. So what will you do? So this is how you like read the situation, and now you have to respond by writing the response. Suppose what will you do? Suppose what will you do that you will turn like tell them to turn off the mic and maintain the discipline, kind of this. So you should be writing the same in terms of sentences on that paper. So you will get 60 situations in front of you, and you will get 30 minutes to write the responses. So 30 seconds for one situation. So again it is a very fast test. Like you have to read the situation, you have to respond and write. So it is a very quick test. So you should be practicing for it beforehand. After that, your fourth test, that is your self description. So this test, like the generally the questions are out in front of you. So there will be some questions put in front of you, that what your parents think about you, what your teachers think about you, what your friends or colleagues think about you, and what type of person you are, what type of person you want to become. These kind of questions are there in front of you, and you have to write your responses. Just based on your responses, like interlinking these all four tests, the psychologist will make an assessment of you, and he'll find that are you suitable for the forces or not. So this is all about the psychological test. Any doubts? Anyone is having any doubt can clarify.
I have a doubt. Is it really necessary that everything that we write should be a positive thing? Like even though the picture or the word which is an which they give is a negative, we should build a positive note from that, or can we write in a negative manner?
Okay. So I would have been raising this point. further in the class, but still I'll talk about this here only. So people tell you to be positive. That's fine. You should be positive. That's a good thing. But if you are shown something negative, what you can do that you can bring out positive from it. But don't try to transform that negative into positive. Suppose I have got a word knife. So knife is a negative word. Like suppose knife is a negative word, and I won't be writing that I use knife to kill someone. You should be taking something positive out of it. That knife is used for self defense. So that will be a like safer sentence for you. So if you are writing something very negative, that is going to hamper your personality for sure. But yes, you can take something positive from that negative image or that negative word. So like that's how you can deal the negative part of the psychological test.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Any other doubt? Okay. So after this, we'll be moving ahead, and after your day two, that psychological test, some people are interviewed on that particular day only. So interview is something that it can happen on day two, day three, or day four of the SSB. So it can happen anytime. So just after your psychology, some people are unfortunate, and they get the opportunity to get interviewed on that particular day. So you can get interviewed. I will talk about the interview later. Like first, let us talk about the day three of the SSB. That is your GTO day one. So in your GTO day one, that is your day three of the SSB, the first task that you will get is your group discussion. So I'll tell you that GTO is the task where it is more based on the action things. Suppose in the psychology you can write anything, in the interview you can tell anything, but in the GTO your reality comes out when you come on the ground and you are doing some action. So everyone loves action, and here because of the action your reality comes out. Suppose I would say that in psychology I would write that I'm very fearless. In the interview I can say that I'm fearless, but now where I'll be there in the GTO, when I'll be standing on that commando walk, if I'm fearful, I'll show it. So because of that, the GTO is having very raw idea about you. So you cannot fake yourself in the GTO. And those who try to fake, they are not able to fake for continuous 2 days. Like they will give up very soon. So don't try to fake yourself. Just be whatever you are. And here in the preparation stage, you are having some opportunity to improve. So whatever weakness you find in yourself, you can improve. Those who are there in the batches, like we are telling whatever the weakness they are having and how they can improve. So after that, let us talk about the tests. So GTO day one, where two group discussions are there. Like first test that you will be getting is your group discussion. In the group discussion, there will be topics related to international affairs or social issues like terrorism, unemployment, or these kind of thing. Or you can have international affairs kind of topic, that why China is more prone towards Pakistan, not towards India, and or how India can tackle China. So there will be three leads given with every topic. Suppose I'm saying that how India can tackle China, and your first lead is, I would say, by using trade barriers. Second, I would say by using military power. Third, I would say by using uh, soft power, like soft power of the India. So this is how you'll get three leads, and you can discuss based on these three leads throughout your discussion. So you will get two group discussion, and this is how the group discussion happens. After that, your second task that you get is group planning exercise. So in the group planning exercise, there will be a model shown in front of you. There will be a wooden model, and that model is there. GTO will explain that model. That model is more like a map. So suppose like on the map there is Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, or West Bengal. These kind of states are there. So on that map there will be some small cities like Rampur, Lakshmanpur, or kind of this. So those cities are there. Some basic problems will be shown in front of you. Like GTO will read a story, and based on that story you will get four problems. So on that story, it will be something like you are waiting on a tea stall and you find that one person is coming and he told you that someone has got injured, and someone is going to make like mix poison in the milk factory. These kind of situations are thrown in front of you, so you have to react in a particular way using your group power. Like suppose you are 10 in your group, so you are having manpower of 10, so you can use those human resources and other resources like car, bike, or tanga or something kind. These kind of resources will be shown in the map or the model itself. So just like you will get these stories in your hand also, you can read these stories for 5 minutes, then you will get 10 minutes for writing your individual plans. Write your individual plan, and after that you will get 15 minutes for discussing the plan. So once you have discussed, just one person will be standing and he will be presenting the like group solution in front of the GTO. This is how the group planning exercise happens. What you can do again here is to be observant, like observe the things very well and discuss very well. Make your individual plan very strong. And suppose like you have made your individual plan very strong, even if you are not able to discuss much in the discussion, that will be fine. Then the third task that is there is PGT. So PGT is like as the name suggests, progressive group task. So there will be a four stage kind of task, and in that task you will be having four stages. And as the stages will be progressing, the difficulty level of the task will also getting like increased. So like there will be some obstacles, there will be some wooden or iron obstacles, and you will be using your helping material of plank, bully, or rope, or some triangle and all. These kind of helping materials are given to you, so you have to just use those helping materials and cross that obstacle. So you should not be putting your feet on the ground. Use those obstacles on the ground, use those helping material and cross the obstacle. That is all that you should do. There are some rules and regulation of that particular task. So like once we'll go into the technicalities of those tasks, we'll discuss that. Now talking about the next task, that is your GOR. So GOR is like after the PGT you will be taken to a ground, and in that ground the GOR happens. GOR is group obstacle race, where your group will be competing with other groups. So it is more like a race, and where your group will be competing with other groups. You all will be holding one rope. So because this rope is very long and you are like running, so whatever the path that you will choose will be the path of is your rope also. So it looks like a snake. So it is also called as snake race. So there will be six obstacles in your way. Obstacles like army net, and those standing walls like great wall, and there will be double wall, single wall, and some like basic, very basic, you must have seen that swing where you are going up using a ladder and going down using the slide. So that kind of obstacle is also there. So these kind of obstacles you have to follow and just go on the other side and report to your GTO. So the group that comes first is the winner of the task. Generally, no group comes first. All the group comes on the same timing. And this is what like what you can do in the group obstacle race is to be very enthusiastic. Like in the SSB they are also checking that are you enthusiastic enough or not. So show your enthusiasm, show your cooperation, show your helping nature in that particular task. That is a very good platform to show your like heart, how good a human you are. So you can show yourself in that particular task. Then talking about the half group task, like after the PGT and group obstacle race, your group will be divided in two halves or sometimes three halves, and you will be taken to a small task that is more like a PGT. But in PGT you will be having four stages, and in half group task you will be having only one stage. So you will just stand there, and like he will show you that GTO will show you the task, and using the helping material again you will be crossing the obstacle, and your task is done. So, like in PGT, HGT, and the other tasks like command task and final group task, what you can do that observe the obstacles very well. Like you will see there is some like very small kind of things. Some basic holes are there, or something is like suspending there. So using those suspending kind of thing, or something like hole is there, or these kind of structures. So just using these different kind of structures, you will be placing your plank, you will be placing your ropes, and you will be crossing the obstacle. So talking about the next task, that is your lecturate. So lecturate is the opportunity where, like, in terms of all these tasks, lecturate is the opportunity where you can face the GTO one to one. So you are having good opportunity to showcase your communication skills, showcase your confidence and your knowledge. So that is what you can do in terms of like this task. That I would say that always be uploaded with the current affairs, and keep yourself updated, reading the newspaper and all, so that you can do well in the group discussions and lecturates. This is what you can do. Then talking about the day 2 of the GTO, that is your day 4 of the SSB. So the first task that you get on the day 2 is your individual obstacle, where 10 obstacles will be there, and like you will be going through the obstacles, and you have to complete all the obstacles in that particular 3 minutes. If time is left out, you can repeat any of the obstacles. This is what you need to do in the individual obstacle, and I would advise to be very physically fit, because you are going to join the defense, and you have to be physically fit, that's for sure. So be physically fit. If someone is overweight, he can lose their weight. If someone is underweight, they can gain their weight, because like it can hamper you in the medicals also. So just be well versed with everything. Then talking about the command task. Command task is the opportunity where you will be made a commander, and you will be having two subordinates. So it is a time where you can show that how well you deal with people. Like GT will be seeing only you, and you will be dealing with your two subordinates. So some people will get into aggression, some people will get into overconfidence that they are made a commander. So they are not a commander, they are under some supervision. So they are not a commander, they are only just performing their task. So don't like show aggression or show over smartness. Just be a normal kind of guy, and just do your best in the command task. Then talking about the final group task. So final group task is the task where you can show whatever left out. Maybe you wouldn't have get opportunity in your PGT, HGT, command task. So final group task is the last opportunity to showcase yourself in front of the GTO. It is a very small task, like it lasts for only 2 minutes, and the task is over. After that, GTO will give you a briefing about the performance of the group, that how you performed and what you can do in your life, some motivational kind of session. That's all about the GTO. After that, anyone is having any doubt regarding GTO? Any doubts? Okay. So I suppose there are no doubts. And now I'll talk about the interview. So after your psychology, you have given your GTO. Now talking about the interview. Interview is a process. It can last for 30 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes, or even 2 hours. So it can last for any long. It depends on the mood of the interviewer, and the knowledge that you are giving to the interviewer. So apart from that, like what you can do in the interview, first thing is to dress well, because the first impression in front of the interviewer is your dressing. So dress very well, dress properly, like have a clean shave, and make sure that you are looking smart. And after that, go be confident. Don't show over smartness. Like some people are there who get into arguments with the interviewer. Don't never get involved in the argument. Interviewer are like they are trained for making you getting involved in these kind of things. So just keep yourself out of the arguments, or any other kind of, like people are there who just give savage replies to the interviewer. So don't like get involved in these kind of things. Apart from that, be confident in front of the interviewer, and have a very smiling posture on your face. Like never get depressed in like in front of the interviewer. What happens that if you are not able to answer some questions, people get disappointed. Never do that. Be cheerful. Like it is not an interview of your life, you can do anything else. So just have a smiling posture and keep yourself cheerful. Again, I would say that be prepared with the current affairs. Like if you are prepared with the current affairs and if you are prepared with the like general awareness question, you will have a confidence in yourself, and that confidence will be shown in your face, on your face. So like be updated with the current affairs. Apart from that, answer the questions very well and listen to the questions very carefully. Like they change the patterns, they change the questions. So listen to the questions very carefully and answer with humbleness, answer with respect. And this is what you can do in the interview. And do not get pressurized. They will try to make you pressurized, like they will say कि तुमको कुछ नहीं आता है, or sometimes they start abusing. So just don't get pressurized. That's all you can do in the interview. I would say that if you are confident enough, if you are having average knowledge of current affairs and everything, in terms of general awareness, and you are having a smiling posture, you are having some confidence, you are able to deal with interviewer very well, your interviewer is fine. You should be well, you should be doing well in the psychology and the GTO, and your interview is fine. After all these tasks, anyone is having any doubt regarding interview? Okay.
Hello?
Yes, yes. Go on.
Yeah. So what kind of questions can we accept from the interviewer? Like I heard that rapid fire is there
Okay.
and your like there are a few things which we can pre-prepared for the interview. Can I know
Yes.
more about it?
Okay. So talking about the rapid fire, it is not something like rapid fire. It is a question that comes in a series. So just follow that series, and there is a series like suppose if I'm talking to you, so I'll be talking like first I'll ask your name, then what do you do, where are you from, and about your family, about your friends, and the same structure the interviewer also follows. What you can prepare is, as I told, the current affairs. So you can be prepared with the current affairs beforehand. You can be prepared with the like service related information. Suppose you are going for air force, so you should be knowing the details of some aircrafts. You should be knowing about the commands of the air force, how many commands are there, who is the chief of the air force, and some basic things like the motto of the air force, when it was established, what if you are going for air force, so you are going for being a flying officer. So what is the ranking of the officers, like after the flying officer, what is the rank? And these kind of basic knowledge is expected from you. So you can expect these kind of questions from the interviewer related to your service knowledge. And as you talked about the rapid fire, so you can have, like, rapid fire is not a rapid fire, it is more based on your PIQ. So I'll talk about the PIQ here only. So PIQ is the most important document in the SSB. You will be having your PIQ for day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. So be prepared, like prepare your PIQ beforehand. In the preparation stage, what you can do, that there's a column of hobbies, there's a column of co-curricular activities, sports. So in this preparation stage, just try to fill up your co-curricular activities, your sports section a lot. Like go for playing some sport and indulge in different kind of co-curricular activities. Increase your hobbies. You can go for reading books, and you can increase more and more hobbies. So the number of hobbies, the number of events that you are having in your life is how the interviewer is going to. So just like you can do this in your preparation stage, you can have your PIQ updated. After that, be well versed with the things that you are filling in your PIQ. Like suppose I'm playing volleyball and I have filled it in the PIQ. So be prepared that what kind of questions can be asked in terms of volleyball. So they can ask that where have you played, for which club have you played, what was the last match, what was the last funny incident related to volleyball, and till what level you have played, or like basic measurements of the ground, basic weightage of the ball. These kind of questions can be asked. So this is what you can expect, the service related information, knowledge from your PIQ, or the current affairs, and questions based on your life, that is your family, friends, and your co-curricular activities, how you have done in your life. Like suppose if you have taken any drop in any year, your marks have got down. So these kind of questions you can expect from the interviewer. Fine.
Does the emphasis on academic classes, like if we are from BTech, does they ask any questions regarding our BTech
Yeah.
branch?
If you are going for like technical entry, suppose you are going for SSC Tech or TGC, then be prepared for these kind of questions. And if you are not going for those kind of entries, if you are going for suppose CDS or FCAT, still be prepared. But in terms of defense, like suppose you are going for FCAT entry and you are having like you are pursuing BTech, so you should be prepared with the questions related to aircrafts, that how engineering can be made used in the aircrafts, and this Bernoulli theorem, and how an aircraft flies, or like technicalities of the engine of the like aircrafts. So this is what how you can interlink your BTech with the Air Force. So this is how you should prepare for the academic questions. Anyone else? Anyone else is having any doubt? Okay, so I suppose no further doubts are there. After that, like your day 5 is your conference. So in the conference, generally you are taken to a hall. One person comes there and he motivates you for your further life events. Then you will be taken like individually, one by one. Every person will go into a hall where some officers will be seated, those who have assessed you throughout the 5 days. They will talk about your personality. If they are having any doubts regarding you, they can clarify it to you. And they will ask some basic questions related to your stay, food, and your experiences in the SSB. These kind of questions will be asked to you. And after that, like, you are relieved. Now you are again back to the hall, and one person will be there. He will shout the chest number. Like one officer will come and he will tell about the like this your chest number who got recommended. So this is how the process of SSB happens, and this is how the things are in the SSB. So any doubts regarding process or anything? Okay, so I suppose no doubts are there. So this is what like checked throughout the 5 days. That is your officer like qualities. So what is officer like qualities? These are the qualities that everyone is having in their conscience. Like if I talk about everyone, everyone is having some basic uh, like reasoning abilities, that how they have to think. Everyone can plan some basic events. Everyone can have some basic talks with people, so they are having power of expression. Everyone is kind of helpful to everyone, so they are having cooperation. Just the thing that is needed in the SSB is projecting your qualities. Suppose I am having all the qualities, but I am not able to project that there in the SSB. Here comes the shortcoming. So you have to improve that shortcoming, that how to project your qualities. Like everyone is having all the qualities, that there's nothing like someone is having quality or not. So how I can improve my OLQs on daily basis? This is not like that. Yes, be a good human on daily basis, be a like respected citizen of your country. This is what you can do on the daily basis. You can improve your hobbies, you can read about, you can read a lot, and you can play sports. If you are playing sports, major of the qualities are having like are lying in your personality, I'm sure. So this is what you can do. You can play sports, you can do some hobbies, like you can increase your hobbies, you can go for some better extracurricular activities, so that you are having better exposure. And that exposure will be shown in the TAT. Suppose I am having like suppose I am having 10 of the hobbies. And once the images will start coming in TAT, everywhere I can interlink myself, that yes, if someone is reading a book, I also relate that with that image. Suppose someone is writing, so I also have a hobby of writing, suppose general, so I can interlink myself with that image. Suppose someone is playing volleyball in that particular image, so I can interlink myself that yes, I also play volleyball, so I can write an incident related to any match. This is how you interlink yourself with the images, and this is how you show your officer like qualities. So projective skills are like, you should be projecting your qualities in front of the SSS. Like suppose I'm having all the qualities and I'm not showing anything, like if I'm not speaking, no one will be able to get what I'm thinking in my mind. So this is how the projective qualities works also. Suppose in the lecturate you are having enough content in your mind, but you are not speaking anything, then it shows that you are having lack of confidence. Maybe you are confident, but you are not able to show that there in front of the GTO. So here comes the practice also. That practice plays a major role. So you should be practicing all these things beforehand, and all these qualities like reasoning ability, effective intelligence, power of expression, and organizing ability, then social adaptability, cooperation, sense of responsibility. All these qualities lie in your personality. Just feel this. You are having all the qualities, and try to project it on your daily basis. Whatever you are doing, I would advise everyone to start writing their daily events. Like suppose you are going for your college, suppose you are going from a bike, and someone asks for lift, and you give them the lift. Just come back, write it in your diary that you have given a lift. So these kind of like small acts will give you satisfaction, and these kind of small acts will give you something that is called the officer like qualities. So once you are getting the satisfaction, once you are getting the happiness, once you start being grateful for the things that are around, so or like automatically you are having all these qualities in your self. That's all you can do for like improving your officer like qualities, and start like increasing more and more hobbies, read more books, increase your co-curricular activities and sports. So uh, anyone is having any doubt regarding anything?
What if you are not so active in sports?
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
can you
Yes, yes, I've got the question. So
explain then what can be your plus point?
okay, so if you are not active in sports, maybe you are active, more active in your co-curricular activities. Like you are involved in debates or singing kind of thing. Or suppose you are having nothing, you are not having co-curricular activities, and your sports section is also nil. So in that event, what you can do, you are, for now you are in a preparation stage, so you can increase your sports section, you can increase your co-curricular activities, as I told. But suppose like some people say that they are not having enough resources, it does not matter. Like if you are having a smartphone, there are number of apps that are providing you some platform to learn something, or showcase your talent, so you can do that. And apart from that, if you are not having any sports in your like PIQ, no issues. If you are not having, if you have not played any sport in your throughout your life, so just leave it blank.
See,
And whenever,
it's like
yes,
it's like I have not played sport. We played sport at school level. While doing graduation, we won't get that much time, or because of this pandemic, corona and all,
okay,
everything is online. So we don't get a chance to play sports or to get active in.
okay, so you have like
Yeah.
played in your school time, so still you can write. Like people are there who just think that if you have played on the district level, state level, national level, then only you can write. It is not something like that. If you have played gully cricket, you can write cricket. There is a section where it asks for any outstanding achievement. So there you can mention that you have played cricket casually, you have played volleyball casually. So this is what you can do in terms of sports. Like if you have not played any sports on a very good level, so you can just write that sport that you have played in your locality and write it casually. You like interviewers is interested to know that are you active in these kind of activities or not. So if you are played if you have played even the gully cricket, it shows that you are active in cricket. So this is how you can deal with it. Any other doubt?
Okay, and I have one more doubt that while filling the PIQ form, is it mandatory to write everything in capital letters or we can write in running handwriting? Because I've been advised
Okay,
like
so
both the things. So it's really very confusing. What is the actual format to write the PIQ
So,
form?
if you are filling any form, I would advise to write it in a capital letters, like bold letters form, because this looks good and one can easily understand whatever you are writing. So, if you are filling the PIQ in your capital letters, that's fine, and like it is better to write in capital letters. Still, there will be some places that are too long, so there you can use the running handwriting. That's also fine. But still, the major of the things like your name, your father's name, and your city, district, district and state, these kind of things should be filled in the capital only. And as I told that, listen to the instructions. There in the SSB, they tell that you have to fill everything in the capital form. So if they have told it, so you have to fill it.
While filling the PIQ form, there is in the participation or games and sport, there is a section called period or the duration of participant.
Right.
What exactly it means? Like 1 week, 2 months? How
No,
we
no,
need to
not like
fill
this.
that column?
Suppose
Hmm?
you have, suppose I'm in class 12th and I have played cricket from class 9th. So right now 2021 is running. So I would write that from 2017 till date. So it shows that from 2017 I have been playing it till date. It is not like 1 week or 1 month. It is like a duration. So a time gap, like from this year to this year, something kind of that.
I didn't get
Suppose
you because the
suppose
same thing
you
is
okay.
there in the other
Yes, I have
extracurricular
understood. Yes, yes.
activities.
So suppose you are in school, like you have played your sports in your school, and you have played your
Yes.
sport only from your class 9th till your class 12th. After that, in graduation, you have dropped these sports. So in that like time of duration, you can write your year when you were in class 9th till your year when you were in class 12th. So this shows that you have participated during that duration, and after that you have dropped. Understood?
No.
Okay. Okay. I like.
See, wait, let me first tell you like activity. I have been organized many events. Like I'm in fashion designing, so being a cultural head of my batch, I organize few events. So period of duration can't be like right. Event can be there for a particular time. Like sports can be played for a week if I played volleyball,
Okay. So
or
suppose
I'm
that event lasts
organizing
for
an event.
yes. Let me speak that I'm saying that suppose that event was there in 2019. So for that duration, just write 2019.
Okay.
Suppose like it lasted for 5 days, like there can be an event that lasted for 5 days, and it took place in 2019. So just write 2019.
Okay. And in all outstanding achievements, we need to write the positions we got, or like
Yes,
what
sometimes you
exactly
get
we
some
need to
titles,
write.
like if you are in fashion designing, like there are some titles like um, I would say running model or something kind of these kind of
Yeah.
titles one gets. So you can write those titles, or if you have got any position like first, second, third, or you were the captain, or you got gold medal, silver medal, something kind of this, you can be writing.
Yeah. And the same outstanding section is there in the educational record. What exactly we need to mention in that?
Okay,
Like,
in education, suppose like you are the state topper, or the you top the school, or in any particular subject you were the class topper or school topper, or you got distinction on in all your five subjects, so you can be writing those.
Okay.
Any other doubt, anyone? Okay, so after this, like, uh, one gentle reminder is about our batch, that what we are conducting. So this was an overview. If you want to like go more into the details in the technicalities of these tasks, how to perform and what should we do, what we should not do, so you can enroll for our batch. And these are the details. And if you are having any doubts, you can contact to Vivek Bhaiya, and you will be getting the PDF of this, so you can see those number and these details from those PDF.
And after this you will be getting one feedback form. तो class कैसा लगा वो बता देना feedback form में. Okay, it would be helpful if you guys let us know that how was the demo class, and it will be helpful for others too, right? So I will be providing one demo form. Okay, just fill it up.